The High Elf campaign saw early success. First, in the conquest of the neutral village against the Chaos Dwarves. They pushed onward, letting their momentum carry on the fight to the Shattered Coast, winning a very tight engagement to give them access to their goal, the sea. The High Elves wished to take the final port that would allow them to set sail with their new fleet. The Dwarves were not kind stewards to the mighty sea. They did not embrace the oceans the way the Elves did. Instead, it was a dumping ground for their oil and pollution and smog, all of the waste from their industry, the cruel machines that they created. They were not ready to set sail from this port, and the High Elves wished to take it. However, this was a different battle for the High Elves. Using their superior speed to win on open ground was one thing, but this was a battle of attrition. This was what the Chaos Dwarves excelled at, rooting them out from this polluted bay so that we could greet the sea. That was the High Elf goal. Hey, what's up, guys? And time for turn 5 of our Tiny Town campaign. And yeah, I'm calling it Weekly Game with Kevin, because here we go again. I'm fighting Kevin this time for the port that Kevin currently controls. We're playing King of the Hill, and I'm coming in with a supporting banner, a fortification, and a naval bombardment. So I'm at 1900 points, not including the upgraded hero, the Lendril, the Dauntless, while Kevin is coming in with 1700 points for a fortification, but he also sweetened the deal with 250 of his own funding. So as defender in this scenario, Kevin has a few inherent advantages. One, he gets to pick the deployment zone he wants, so he took the flank deployment zone there with his strong side on the left side of the screen, giving me the water and the port as my strong side, which was basically useless except for flyers, but I wanted my flyers nearby anyway, so I guess that kind of worked out there. And also I had naval bombardment, so I thought maybe that would help as well. So here is how we're setting up. Kevin had an incredible list. He had basically 3 siege weapons, including like the death tank thing, and that Havoc Dwarf artillery is absolutely insane. Indirect fire, can just park it, somewhere in the back of the board where it can't get hit, and it's just hitting you with AP2, Blast 3, Blast 6, Infernal ammo, like all day long. Like that stuff is horrible to deal with. It's been my 3rd game of just getting shelled to death by that. He also has his leader on that weird like Gorgon thing, which is cheaper than my dragon and capable of doing way more damage. I know, I'm just whining here. And he had a pretty good unit of bull centaurs in there. So he had a six centaurs deep. That was a great crushing unit. He also has a caster on foot. He's got his hobgoblin guy, and he doubled up on lances for a rear charge with that ambushing hobgoblin unit. So Kevin really beefed up. He's learned from the other 2 battles, and his list is absolutely terrifying. It's 11 units strong at 1950 points, which is just absolutely insane. And he's got points tied up in stuff that just can hit you from anywhere on the board almost, and then he's got those crazy spells and damage on his Gorgon thing. That said, my Prince Dariel list is nothing to sneeze at. I've got a dragon in that list, which is insane because it does hit on 2s with a whole bunch of attacks. I also put my Sky Sierra Uriel on a Griffin for this battle, and she's behind a unit of eagles there. I've got the Lendril, the Dauntless, who is leading the Dragon Cavalry charge. I've got a couple of cheap casters in some Swordmaster's unit, and then I've got this scouting Reaver squad, which I wish would do some actual damage to that siege cannon back there. And I've got first turn, I've got a scout move, I've got a flank charge. But yeah, dice are dice. They don't like me. I managed to do a little bit of damage back there, but he needed a 5 in order to pass his quality check. And guess what? Guess what, guys? Yeah, he passed. It did nothing back there. All it did was it did delay the Goblin Archers and the Gorgon for a turn, so I guess that was okay. But I'm gonna get wrecked by those cannons for the rest of this battle. That was really the only answer I had for those awful things. And yeah, once the Reavers go down, I don't have really much else to attack back there. The central advance happens there. I do manage to do some pretty good things to the that caster unit. By the way, that chariot there that you see in the bottom right does not exist. The minute I went to activate it, I realized it was not on my list, so I removed that. So that's good. And I also thought I had a Phoenix unit in here that also did not exist. But nevertheless, Uriel on the Griffin actually did fairly well. She went up, she blew up the little goblin hero there. And then also my spearmen went to take the point that, again, really well defended by Kevin there. And you can see the dragon in the background there. So everything's moving up on that side. I've got a dragon knight charge on the I take out the goblin archers on that side there, but that was not a fair trade. Once I take that out, basically get blown to bits by that Gorgon. So you can see me there, I just took that thing out, but the Gorgon guy is just going to sit there and blow up the dragon cavalry, what's left of them. Again, that's not bad because I'm keeping him sort of in place while my spearmen are going to move up and take the central objective. But Kevin's just getting way too good at just pouring damage on me once we get in close. It's what the Havoc Dwarves do really well. Meanwhile, I do have some pretty decent charges. I blow up the weak Goblin Archer there. Swordmasters do a little bit, but there's like one Swordmaster caster that survives. He does a little bit of damage to that Spearman dwarf unit there. And then I just could not get my dragon into position this whole game. It was a little upsetting. Couldn't really get the dragon in, but it kind of worked to my advantage towards the end there. Here's the Lendril charging into the dragon ogres. Again, dice were not really in my favor. The orbital bombardments did a few things, but not really. And this dragon charge here, I was hoping would do a little bit more to the dragon ogres. Again, not really, even with all those hitting on 2s and AP1, just not enough to do. That's like, has like 18 wounds in that unit, which is crazy. The ambushing goblins come in, they take out a cheap Swordmaster unit, and then they do the really crazy thing, which is they delay Dariel for another turn, despite the fact that Dariel's got 16 hits on them, basically. Kevin rolls insane. He just starts rolling insane at the end of the game. So he has one guy left there. He passes the quality check. And so I lose a whole turn back there. Actually 2 turns dealing with just a garbage unit that more than made its money back because it delayed a dragon for 2 turns. Like, that dragon should be in there eating things alive. Meanwhile, Kevin is just shelling the ever-living crap out of the spearmen there. So they're not long for this world. He also has his character caster on the ground there who's by himself at this point, but still able to walk around and do a little bit of damage. But I believe he gets blown up by, I'm trying trying to remember. He gets killed by Thelendril? Yeah, he gets killed by Thelendril because Thelendril, eventually we take down that Dragon Ogre unit with Uriel. She takes them down. Thelendril makes it over to the other side towards the objective there. And it's just him and one Dragon Cavalry left. By the way, Uriel killed the siege tank too, so she killed a tank. She killed a lot of stuff this battle. And so we're finally towards the end of the game. I just have Uriel and Thelendril there against the Gorgon guy. Thelendril did kill the caster on foot, I believe. And the Gorgon guy just goes on. He takes out Thelendril there. And yeah, he scores a bunch of VP too. This dragon guy is insane. But it's towards the end of the game. I only have 3 models left. It's the 3 characters. Thelendril gets blown up. Then Dariel finally makes it over there, but he isn't close enough to charge. So he's just going to sit on the objective. So I just have more wounds on the objective right now. And the Gorgon guy still rips into Uriel, who is at full health. But I fail save after save after save, despite having nine wounds, despite having a regen save. She goes down to she goes down to 1 wound and then fails her quality check. But I forgot to do her attacks back, so I could have done a little bit more damage, but I definitely couldn't have killed him. So it does not change the outcome. I think he only ends up taking like 1 or maybe 2 wounds, but Dariel's sitting there fully fresh, like way higher unit strength at this point. And so I'm gonna win the game basically just on wounds there. It's really just my dragon left. Kevin's got that Gorgon left, and then he still has the 2 siege engines left. But yeah, that's how the game is going to end. Very, very narrow victory for the High Elves. Incredible game. I am not going to win many of these games if Kevin is allowed to defend. So if I have to fight Kevin in a siege or something like that, and I'm the attacker, I really got to rethink my strategy. I thought my strategy was good. Dice failed me at some pretty critical moments, but nevertheless, well-fought game. I just couldn't believe the absolute shelling that my army took for this game, but it was super fun. Had we had a 5th turn, you can see I'm in position there for a rear charge. Is probably bad for Kevin anyway, and then I would just need to survive the shelling after that. So anyways, that was the turn 5 battle for the High Elves. We now have a port, so things are looking pretty for us going into turn 6, which is going to be very interesting. In other news, Chaos began their campaign against the Lizardmen, having a draw in the open field there, which I believe ended up going to the Lizardmen just because I believe they were defenders there, even though, again, that was a draw. And then there was this really interesting siege that happened. The Lizardmen laid siege to a Chaos fortress. It was a really rough, long battle, but I was told that in the end, the Lizardmen were able to storm the castle and take down the fortress. So here is the state of the map after turn 5. Looking pretty good there for me. I now have a port. I have a fleet on that port, and I can begin my seaworthy adventures. Jason also launched a fleet, and you can see his purple there on the North Island. Kevin is starting to push west, even though he lost a port. And Rory is pushing dangerously close to Jake's capital after breaking through that fortification wall there with the successful siege. Going to be really interesting turn 6, guys. Yeah, we'll see how this goes, but things just got super interesting. 2 of us are at sea, and there is actually a capital almost being threatened here. So thanks everyone for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.